be the same in measure? 47 degrees, right? Because they are vertical angles. You got to start looking at that vocab. And if you were gone yesterday, we did a lot with vocab. So those two are the same because they are vertical. Next, we are going to take a look at what's the same as 77. In between, and they told us these lines were parallel. In between our two parallel lines, what's the only kind of angles that we have? They're called what? Not vertical. They're called what when they're in between the two parallel lines? Not corresponding, because corresponding is one inside and one outside. They are alternate interior. So if this one is 77, that means this one is 77 degrees, right? These are alternate interior angles. This one is 77, this one is 77. Okay? So, because of alternate interior. Now, inside my triangle, what do I know, Maria, the three angles have to total to? 180. So I'm going to take 180 and subtract it. If you didn't have this done, you should be making sure you write this down. 77 plus 47, and I'm subtracting that from 180. That's how they got to 56. Does that make sense then? Okay. Other questions on any of the rest of these? Yes. Number 5 says in the picture number 8 in the diagram above is 127 degrees. So if we are looking at question number 5, it's telling us that the measure of angle 8 is equal to 127 degrees. It says, what is the sum of angles 1 and 4? So if we take a look at where 8 is, 8, what do we know about the measure of angle 4 in that picture? Angle 4 has to be how many degrees? They has to be 127 also because they correspond, right? And what do we know about 4 and 1? 4 and 1 on question number 6 are vertical. It has to be the measure of angle 1 has to be 127 also. So it just says what is the sum of those two? So you're just adding those two together. That's the 254. So it says what is the sum? The word sum means you are adding. Okay? All right. I would like you today, there's not a lot of notes, it's more practice with that. Yep.
Sweet. Keep everything else.
You had to give me 254 is what you
There's no H11.
No, you didn't have to show
There's
your
nothing to do. No one can.
So,
There's no H16.
yours is in 16 and yours it is 11.
Dang.
Yes.
Are we gonna have to do it?
I'm going to tell you what you're going to do in just a minute. And hopefully we're going to have plenty of time for you to get it done. So, as you are taking a look, 3 and 6, they're in between our two lines. What's the only option if they're in between the two lines? Alternate interior. Please write alternate interior. What?
We have to identify these on the test.
You will have to identify these on the test, definitely. Angles 6 and 8. They're right next to each other along a straight line. Tell your shoulder partner that I'm going to call on you. Who has it for me? Raise your hand. Taylor? They are not corresponding. 2 and 6 are corresponding. Maria?
Supplementary angle.
Supplementary angle. Supplementary is two angles that are right next to each other that total to 180. 6 and 8 are supplementary angles. 4 and 6. We don't really have a name for those yet, right? I want you to look down here and put an arrow right here to that word, same side interior. Now we don't use this one a lot, but same side interior angles. If you were going to read that for us, please go, Kaden. Just read.
Oh.
Same side interior. You don't have to have been
Angles
here
are
yesterday.
interior angles that lie on the Same side of
Versal. So, interior, 4 and 6 are in between. This is our interior, right? If you're reading the next one, Caleb, behind him, go.
Same side exterior angles are exterior angles that lie on the same side of the transversal.
Angle 2 and angle 8. Okay, so 4 and 6 are same side interior. 2 and 8 are same side exterior. Remember, this line right here is called our transversal. So when they talk about that word transversal, and those of you, if you were gone yesterday, I have both the video and the notes up. And you need to, don't do that, Nick. And you need to make sure you take a look at those if you haven't already, okay? So it says if the transversal intersects two parallel lines on the same side interior, they are supplementary. So what that tells us is if I know 4 and I know 6, that the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of angle 6 will equal 180 degrees. Same with 2 and 8. Which kind of makes sense, right? Because 2 and 6 are the same. Like if they're both 140, then this would have to be 40. 2 and 8 have to add up to equal. It's the same as adding 6 and 8. They have to be, so our same side exterior and same side interior are always going to be supplementary. What does supplementary mean? It means it sums to equal 180 degrees. Now, some of you might need to take a look at when you're looking at the daily planner. And on the daily planner, yesterday we had the notes and whatnot, but the other thing I go to is to take a look at the Google Classroom. I put a lot of these up there for vocabulary, so if you're struggling with all these different types of angles, I would strongly suggest you take a look at them. So this question says, what's the measure of angle B? These are same side interior, which means that the 99 degree angle plus B has to equal how many degrees? 180. Do you have to show me your work for this? No, I'm okay. So please do your subtraction for me. And I need to know the measure of angle B is going to be equal to, Micah, how many?
81.
81 degrees. 81 plus 99 gives us 180, right? Subtracting 99 from both sides. This next picture, it's not as clear exactly what you're doing right away, but I want you to take a look at these two. And same side interior. So that means that these are my parallel lines. So this 80 degree angle over here. And if I'm looking at it, these two angles have to be equal to 180, which means we're going to have 80, so write that down, plus 40 plus y has to be equal to 180. 40 plus
60.
40 plus
40.
80.
Do 80 plus 40 and then you got.
Right, gives us 120
So you add
plus
60.
y.
Y
So
equals-
if we have to figure out what does y have to be in order to
60.
add, it has to be the measure of angle y has to be equal to 60 degrees. 60 plus 40 plus the 80 gives us 180. Okay. If I would have asked you like this angle, once you could find that, this one would be 40 up here, right? Because they're vertical. Here would be 80 because they're vertical. This one would be 80 because it's vertical. So I had someone say, well, if I knew this was 80 and I knew 40, couldn't I go along a straight line and take 80 plus 40 and subtract that from 180? Yes, that's the same as what we did here. So there's lots of different ways of coming up with these answers. So it says, for each pair, determine the kind of angles and then tell if they are congruent or not. So the kind of angles, that is where we're talking about vertical, alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, same side interior, and same side exterior. Those are kind of your 6 choices. And notice it says, are they congruent after you take a look at it? So right now, I just want you to try and write down as many of the names as you can. What did you guys have for 1 and 3? Between the two of you. They're right next to each other. Supplementary. Emma, what'd you guys have for 4 and 8? Four and 8. They're in the same spot. So between you and Abby, what do you guys have? 4 and 8. Ben, you got it? Corresponding. Be ready to check with your shoulder partner the second part. Are they congruent or not? The symbol you're going to put for congruent is this. Congruent. Or you can write this with the line through it, right? That'd be not congruent. Okay? So, 4 and 5. Emmy, what did you guys have? 4 and 5, alternate interior. Zach, what did you have for 3 and 5? 3 and 5. It's a new one from today. Lucas, you got it? Same side interior. 3 and 5 are same side interior. All right, 6, 7. Kylie, what do you have? Vertical.
But I had a question on
3 and 5. Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't they also be supplementary?
They will end up being supplementary, so I would take either one of those. I would take that they are supplementary, more specific name, same side interior, but then it's going to be the same thing. Nice job. 2 and 8. Emily and Whitney.
Alternative exterior.
2 and 8 are not altering because they're on the same.
Oh no, that was for 2 and 7.
Oh, 2, 7.
Sorry.
2, 7, I agree. Alternate exterior. So now with your partner, tell if they are congruent. So tell me the congruent symbol or not congruent behind each one and make sure you and your partner agree. This was our same side exterior. Talk with your shoulder partner, make sure you agree. All right, in the back, Sanjay and Caleb, what do you guys have? First one. Not. No. Not congruent. 4 and 8. Jade.
That would be yes.
That would be a congruent. Hale and Caleb. 4 and 5.
Yes.
That would be a yes. Congruent. 3 and 5. Nick and Jack. 3 and 5. What do you think? Congruent? Do they have to be the same measure or not? Between the two of you, what do you think? Yes, no? Not congruent. Reason they're not congruent? They're supplementary, right? And only way that they would be that they would actually be congruent is that if you add like this being a right angle, right? That's the only way that they would be congruent, right? That's the only time you'd have that. Okay? If we're looking at vertical, 6, 7, Jessica and Zach, what do you have? They are going to be congruent. If we are looking at same side interior, Jacob, what are you guys looking at? Not congruent. Emmy and Brecken, what do you guys have for alternate exterior? Congruent? I agree. Okay? So, making sure you understand all those names. The question was on the test, do we have to know the types of angles or can we just find the measure? You're going to be asked why. Okay? Part of the test is going to say, we're going to be talking more specifically about similar triangles that we're going to talk about tomorrow. And when we talk about those similar triangles, actually we're not going to do it until Thursday. When we talk about similar triangles are, and you have to give the reasons why, and you have to have 2 congruent angles. So, in this one, what I want you to do, I'm going to pause this, I want you 75. 2 and 75 are what kind of angles? Supplementary. So if this is 75, the measure of angle 2 has to be how many degrees? 105 degrees. What do I know about 75 and 1? They are corresponding, congruent, so it has to be 75 degrees, right? It has to be supplementary to 2. Same side interior, 1 plus 2 has to add to 180. Same side. So does that make sense how you're going to find these? I want you to try it for the next one. You should be able to do this one. This one starts to give some people problems. My hint is alternate interior angles and same side interior. Alternate interior and same side. Work with your shoulder partner, see if you can figure them out. You can work with the people in front of you.
This is H11.
So my hints are here. Same side interior, same side, and alternate exteriors. We were looking at those. Let's go back up to this one first. If I have 120, Ben, if I have this angle is 120, what do I know about? Do you want to tell me the measure angle 1 or 2? 2. 2 has to be?
60.
Has to be 60 because these two have to be supplementary, right? Add to 180. Oh, I know about the next one then, angle 1.
1 has to be 120.
Has to be 120. Why?
Because I have to add 180.
These 1 and 2 together, or you could have said 1 and this angle over here are corresponding, right? Corresponding has to be congruent. So if they correspond, they're in the same location between our 2 parallel lines, they have to be that exact same measure. So my hint in this one is corresponding. Over here, my hint is alternate interior and same side, okay? So, Gavin, you want to go alternate interior or same side? Which one do you want to find, 1 or 2? 1? Or is that going to be alternate interior with my parallel lines, or is it going to be same side interior? Same side, which means angle 1 has to be how many degrees? 100 degrees. Okay. What do I know about this angle? This is where I'm going to use the alternate interior, right? Ellen, what do I know the angle 2 has to be? Has to be 70. The measure of angle 2 has to be 70 degrees. Alternate interior are always congruent as we are looking at this.
That's not
okay?
180.
What's that?
That's not 180.
Where?
Right
These
there.
1 and 2 together?
Yeah.
They shouldn't be because they aren't parallel lines. This is my parallel line. This angle here and this angle, which would be 110, is supplementary, right? You have to look at where the lines are parallel. These lines are not parallel. Same thing here. These are my only 2 parallel lines, right? So Abby, start us off. You want to find 1 or 2? 1. Pretty easy. It's corresponding. How many degrees? 82. This one's 58, which means over here, Hale, how many degrees am I looking at this one?
160. No. 120.
122, because what do we know about those two?
122 plus 58 is 100.
Has to sum to be 180, so we got 122. So can we now see a corresponding angle, Grace? What should the angle 2 be? If we know this one was 122. You know, this angle right here is 122 degrees. We're going to look at this with this. They correspond, right? Has to be 122. Is that making sense for some of you?
I just want the data to go like that.
Yeah, I am so tired too.
I don't understand.
I know.
I think it's
So, what do we know know about these two angles? They have to sum to
180.
180. So I'm going to take, to find the measure of angle 2, I'm going to take 180 and subtract 119. Gives me? Are you sure?
161.
How about angle 1?
104.
76 degrees. Alternate interior. So same side, sums to 180.
But that's parallel line.
The parallel lines are up here.
Yeah.
No, the other lines.
These two lines are not parallel. These are the markings for parallel. Okay?
So the parallel
So, we are going to take, if you turn back to yesterday's notes and look at that homework quiz, we're going to do one just like that. Only thing I'm going to give you different measures. So look back at the last page of yesterday's notes at that quiz at the bottom. We did that in class. Okay, you had a chance to do it with your shoulder partner. I'm going to give you one that's similar to it, but not the same numbers. So I just want you to look at it right now with your shoulder partner. And if you have any questions,
How's Gabe supposed to do it?
that's for a flashcard. That's for a flashcard.
The 6th graders are outside.
I know.
Don't you wish you were back in 6th grade?
Yeah, I think we don't work.
Yeah, then I could have a mom. Give it a shot. It's not going to be one that. So as you are looking at yesterday's, I'm going to put it up in just a minute here for you. All right. I am not sure if this is the day or not, and I have Maria gone, so something to keep in mind. But let's try
I have 2 seats.
taking all of your things.
And throw them away.
No. And I would like you, if you would like to move seats, we're going to see if this would work. And I will make up a seating chart. And if you want to stay where you're at, or if you want to move, I will make up a seating chart. So get your stuff. You can stand up, you can move anywhere. If you know, like Maria is gone, and you think, oh, she might want to sit by me, or I might want to. Okay, so I'm gonna give you, I don't know, 2 minutes. I'm gonna give you less than a minute. You can stand up and move wherever you want.
No.
Sitting here. Jacob, are you listening? I'm not laughing at word.
Why don't you and
I thought
will you guys
one of those games. Okay, so.
Sanjay.
Now find a spot. Or number 2.
that's a next one.
Is that gonna work?
But I don't know at all.
Look, I found no.
Let's see.
Maria will kill me.
All right, so I'm gonna have you two move back one. I'm gonna have you move up here.
Hands.
You're gonna stay right there.
There's no hats in school.
You're gonna move
Yeah,
up
you
here.
guys don't know how to wear hats in school.
See, look at that. Nobody even said that. Thank you, Will.